Greetings, everyone. I am Sophia, aged 42. I reside in a tranquil suburban community with my spouse, James, and my stepson, Liam. Life here is predominantly tranquil. However, I frequently experience a deep sense of isolation inside my marriage. My spouse, James, is a corporate attorney whose profession requires much time and concentration. He is perpetually occupied with consecutive meetings, extended hours at the workplace, and unceasing deadlines that appear unyielding. While I comprehend the duties and obligations associated with his profession, it affords minimal time for our relationship. And at times, I perceive myself as a mere observer in my own existence. Please subscribe to my channel to enable me to share more captivating factual stories like this one. Be sure to view this video in its entirety, as the narrative promises to be exceptionally captivating. There was a period when James and I were profoundly intertwined, exchanging humor, aspirations, and personal experiences. We constructed a life together replete with affection and camaraderie. However, at some point, the enthusiasm diminished. Our nights were cooler and more subdued, characterized by stillness instead of the lively dialogues we previously relished. I frequently lie awake, gazing at the ceiling, contemplating what transpired incorrectly. Notwithstanding all circumstances, I discovered a yearning for a warmth that appeared absent in our partnership. Prior to commencing the narrative, please remember to subscribe to the channel for other enthralling stories that delve into the complexities of human emotions and relationships. A few days later, while my husband James had another late-night meeting, I found myself alone at home once more. The home was unsettlingly quiet, the silence nearly tangible. As I contemplated the exhilarating experience I had with my stepson, Liam, recently, the moment elicited emotions I had repressed for an extended period. I had longed for the exhilaration of being desired, for the sensation of actually living that had been gone from my existence. In a desperate effort to alleviate the mounting anxiety within me, I opted for a prolonged, soothing bath. I filled the bathtub with warm water and ignited several scented candles, permitting the gentle illumination and aromatic steam to surround me, establishing a serene ambience. The gentle warmth of the water enveloped my skin as I descended into the tub, my body yielding to the comforting embrace of the heated water. However, my thoughts returned to Liam, the manner in which his hands caressed my body, the fervor in his kisses, and the sensation of being vibrantly alive and intensely loved. The experience was exhilarating, and the recollection ignited a surge of warmth within me. I shut my eyes, envisioning his caress and the yearning that had ignited between us. The heat of the water intertwined with the warmth within me as I remembered his gaze upon me. His look was imbued with yearning and a profound intensity. A portion of me felt apprehensive. Yet another segment yearned for that exhilaration, that bond. I was irresistibly attracted to him, and I could not dispel the emotions that had started to emerge within me. Suddenly, I heard a gentle knock at the bathroom door, causing my heart to rush as I swiftly sat up, water splashing around me. "Who is it?" I called, attempting to appear indifferent. However, I could detect the quiver in my voice. Liam responded, his voice silky and enticing. A thrill coursed through me at the sound of his voice, causing my heart to speed. "What is your desire?" I inquired, maintaining a buoyant tone despite the exhilaration surging throughout me. "I wish to inquire on your well-being. "You've been here for an extended period," he remarked. And I discerned the anxiety intertwined with an additional sentiment that accelerated my heart rate further. I paused to regain my composure, attempting to suppress my emotions. However, the anticipation was palpable. "I am well. Merely bathing," I responded, my cheeks reddening at the notion of him standing outside the door. A little pause ensued before he spoke again. "May I enter? I merely desire to see you." I experienced a moment of surprise upon recognizing his presence outside the door, accompanied by a strong desire to admit him. Prior to my response, he opened the door and entered with assured confidence. My breath halted as I observed his appearance, his disheveled hair, the snug t-shirt adhering to his torso, and those penetrating blue eyes that appeared to look directly into me, rendering me vulnerable in an unforeseen manner. "I presumed you would appreciate some companionship," he remarked, his eyes wandering to the flickering flames around the room. I was astonished by his audacity. Sensing the atmosphere become charged with tension, I expressed uncertainty on the idea, stammering as my heart raced, attempting to appear composed despite an overwhelming want to draw him nearer. "Please. We are alone for a brief moment," he implored, advancing a step closer. I sensed the heat emanating from him, and the atmosphere became charged, awakening a profound yearning within me. The desire that had accumulated over the preceding days reignited, and I experienced an irresistible urge to be in his proximity. I could sense the intensity of his need, causing my pulse to accelerate. "Finally," I whispered, astonished by my own audacity. However, momentarily, as he approached, I observed his gaze descend towards the ocean. He remarked, his voice low and taunting, provoking a chill down my spine. "I cannot help but contemplate the sensation of joining you in there." I gulped audibly, my heart racing as I envisioned precisely that. I inquired about the possibility of James returning home, attempting to appear pragmatic while covertly desiring him to overlook my apprehension. "We must remain silent," he proposed, his grin expanding as he drew closer, the heat of his body emanating against my skin. Before I could reply, he extended his hand, his fingers brushing against my arm, creating a fervor inside me. "Please. Just allow me entry," he implored, his voice imbued with a yearning that resonated in my heart. I wavered, torn between the exhilaration of want and the burden of my guilt. Yet the allure of his touch proved irresistible. "Very well," I whispered, my voice trembling. "But only for a little minute." Liam rose silently, removed his t-shirt, and entered the tub near me. The warm water enveloped us as our bodies approached, and the intimate atmosphere intensified the tension in the air. The external world diminished as we exchanged glances, water splashing about us, his body mere inches from mine. "This feels pleasant," he murmured, his fingers grazing my thigh, rekindling a passion within me that I had long believed to be extinguished. "Indeed," I responded, my breath faltering as he approached, our bodies now only inches apart. At that moment, the tension dissipated, and he leaned in, seizing my lips with his. The kiss commenced softly, a tender exploration of unvoiced longing, but rapidly intensified as fervor surged between us. My hands grasped his shoulders, drawing him nearer as I succumbed to his embrace, experiencing the warmth of the water surrounding us. Our kisses intensified, A choreography of yearning and passion that provided an escape from the prolonged solitude I had experienced. I sensed his hands traversing my back, then my chest, as he moved against it and began kissing, rekindling sensations I had long overlooked. The exhilarating proximity to him was nearly overpowering, and I fully acquiesced to it. Liam. I inhaled sharply between kisses, the intensity between us escalating, poised to engulf us both. He said softly, his lips gliding down my neck, eliciting thrills throughout my body. Simply relish this. I shut my eyes, immersing myself in the feelings he was generating. Each kiss and touch ignited a profound sensation within me. My fingers intertwined in his hair as he drew me nearer, our bodies aligning as if designed for this moment. With every kiss, the external world vanished entirely, leaving only the two of us entwined in the warm water. My heart quickened as his hands roamed my body, gliding down my arms and ascending to my face, cradling me gently as our kisses intensified, becoming more fervent and urgent. God, I have desired this for an extended while. He exhaled, his lips grazing mine before intensifying the kiss once more. I concurred, experiencing a blend of vulnerability and exhilaration due to the moment's intensity. I grasped him firmly, experiencing a surge of exhilaration as his hands roamed, examining my body in ways that invigorated me. The limits I established for myself started to fade, and I allowed myself to yield to the intensity of the moment. I embraced him closely, and he grasped my body wash, methodically applying it to my aging form as his hands gradually down to my hips, the water swirling about us, intensifying the sensations. Suddenly, a cacophonous sound interrupted the moment, causing us both to freeze. The unmistakable sound of the front door opening resonated, causing my heart to sink. James, I murmured, anxiety overwhelming my perception. Liam abruptly withdrew. His eyes widened as we both hurried to regain our composure. What shall we do? He inquired, his tone fraught with anxiety. Conceal yourself, I whispered, gesturing towards the shower curtain. We swiftly concealed ourselves behind the shower curtain, our hearts beating as we held our breath, hoping James would not enter the bathroom. I heard him moving through the house, saying, Sophia, are you here? The tension was excruciating as we stood together, sensing the warmth emanating from one another. My heart raced not solely from fear, but also from the exhilaration of recent events. I sensed Liam's warm breath on my neck, and adrenaline surged through my veins. James entered the restroom, and I tightly closed my eyes, wishing we would not be discovered. He commenced washing his hands at the sink, entirely oblivious to the turmoil occurring behind the curtain. The sound of the flowing water served as a stark reminder of our fragile circumstances. After what seemed like a lifetime, James completed his task and exited the restroom, the door clicking shut behind him. Liam and I exchanged a relieved smile, our hearts still racing from the narrow escape. Liam muttered, his voice laden with enthusiasm, "That was nearly perilous. I can hardly believe we just accomplished that," I said, experiencing a surge of excitement intertwined with longing. My body was still resonating from the contact, and I felt invigorated by the peril of it all. "Do you wish to proceed?" he inquired, his stare fervent and imbued with desire. I wavered, aware of the inherent risks, yet simultaneously experiencing an irresistible attraction to him. Affirmative. I murmured, my voice scarcely perceptible. We emerged from behind the curtain, our gazes fixed, the anxiety palpable in the atmosphere. I approached him, my pulse beating as I drew him into another kiss. Upon the reunion of our lips, a surge of exhilaration coursed through me. This time, it was distinct. It was no longer only a secret. It was an undeniable connection, a fervor I was prepared to accept, irrespective of the repercussions. I sensed the urgency in his actions as he kissed me passionately, and I yielded to the moment, permitting myself to experience all that I had repressed for an extended period. A few days later, in the late afternoon, sunlight illuminated the kitchen as I cooked dinner. The aroma of sautéed vegetables permeated the atmosphere, sharply contrasting with the residual exhilaration from our previous meeting. I found myself reminiscing, recalling each caress and kiss, and how Liam had made me feel so invigorated. While I stirred the soup on the stove, I heard the front door creak open, succeeded by the recognizable sound of Liam's footfall. My heart raced as he entered the kitchen, a mischievous smile adorning his face. "What is that delightful aroma?" he inquired, leaning against the counter. "I am merely preparing supper," I responded, attempting to maintain my composure. "How was your day?" he inquired. "Lengthy and tedious," he replied, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "However, it is preferable now that I am present." "Is that so?" I inquired, my interest aroused. "What do you mean?" He approached, his presence enhancing the already appealing atmosphere of the kitchen. "I mean, being here with you consistently improves my day," he replied, his tone soft and alluring. His gaze elicited a fluttering sensation in my gut, rekindling memories of our clandestine encounters. I redirected my attention to the stove, attempting to seem occupied, while my heart raced. "You are merely asserting that," I responded, striving to divert the intensity of his stare. "No, I am earnest," he asserted, advancing closer until he was directly behind me. "I cannot cease contemplating you." "About us." His declarations elicited a thrill within me, prompting me to furtively glance over my shoulder at him. "Liam, we cannot continue this. It is intricate." He inclined towards me, placing his chin on my shoulder, the warmth of his body emanating on my back. "Why not? We both desire this. Do we not?" I momentarily closed my eyes, relishing the warmth of his presence, the alluring scent of his cologne, and the palpable chemistry that charged the atmosphere between us. "I do desire it," I confessed, my voice just above a whisper. "However, it poses a risk. Occasionally, the most rewarding experiences in life entail some peril," he whispered, his lips grazing my ear, eliciting a shudder along my spine. "Let us relish this moment while it lasts." I inhaled deeply, my heart racing as I contemplated his statement. He was correct. I had yearned for this bond, this igniting passion that revitalized my spirit. My heart surged with longing, and I found myself succumbing to his charm. "Very well," I murmured, pivoting to confront him completely. The atmosphere became charged with expectation as I examined his eyes, brimming with a blend of hope and yearning. Solely for this evening. A victorious smile illuminated his face, and before I could reconsider, He grasped my hand, guiding me from the kitchen down the hallway to my bedroom. The excitement of being discovered lingered in my thoughts, although the temptation of the moment eclipsed my reluctance. Upon entering my room, he gently closed and locked the door behind us. The mood changed abruptly, the energy tangible as he turned to confront me, his expression grave yet eager. "I've thought about this moment for days," he said, stepping closer, his fingers brushing against my arm. I put my hands inside his pants, trying to turn him on so that he could fulfill my desires and not stop. The distance between us vanished as he wrapped his arms around my waist, pulling me closer until our bodies were pressed together. Without another word, his lips found mine, and I melted into him, feeling a rush of desire that coursed through my veins. My hands roamed inside his shirt as our kisses deepened. The world outside ceased to exist, leaving only the two of us tangled in our passion. Every kiss ignited a fire within me, a desire that had been simmering just beneath the surface. As our kisses grew more fervent, he began to explore my body with his hands, his touch igniting every nerve ending. I gasped against his mouth as he caressed my back, drawing me closer until I could feel his heartbeat against my chest. "God, you're beautiful," he whispered between kisses, his hands finding the hem of my shirt. "I am utterly captivated by you, Liam." I exhaled, the exhilaration of his caress igniting a surge of warmth within me. "We ought to refrain, simply let it to unfold," he implored, his tone laden with want. "Let us disregard all else, if only for tonight." In a singular, fluid motion, he elevated my shirt over my head, his gaze traversing my form with unabashed admiration. A surge of vulnerability intertwined with exhilaration coursed through me as I stood before him, exposed and radiant in his perception. With a soft gasp, I felt his lips upon my skin, trailing kisses along my collarbone. Each caress ignited a fervor within me. My hands explored his back, sensing the muscles beneath his shirt, yearning to touch every inch of him. Subsequently, he captured my lips once more, his hands migrating to my back to unfasten my bra. The sensation of the straps slipping away elicited another wave of warmth as he pushed the fabric aside, his fingers grazing my skin. He broke the kiss to regard me, his expression suffused with awe. "You are extraordinary," he murmured, his eyes brimming with desire. "I desire you," I admitted, emboldened and audacious in that instant. "Then let us create an indelible memory," he replied, his voice laden with yearning as he kissed me once more, this time with greater fervor, probing every contour of my mouth as our bodies entwined. The external world vanished entirely. I became absorbed in him, our kisses intensifying as he pushed me against the wall, his hands traversing my body as though he were uncovering each aspect of me anew. Time became irrelevant as we yielded to our cravings, the exhilaration of our togetherness propelling us both to the brink. I experienced vitality, longing, and complete immersion in the bond we established. Ultimately, he withdrew, panting, and grasped my hand, guiding me to the bed. "Are you prepared?" he inquired, his gaze intense with need. "Yes," I murmured, my heart pounding with expectation. We collapsed onto the bed, our bodies intertwined, and the exhilaration of our actions coursed through me. It was a fervent dance of passion and desire, a moment that felt both illicit and electrifying as we surrendered to one another. I recognized that this was merely the inception of our ardent escapade. A thrilling secret poised to transform our relationship. And I was prepared to embrace it entirely, regardless of its destination. Days morphed into weeks, and our encounters intensified. Each moment we seized together was akin to a breath of fresh air, a fleeting reprieve from reality. We discovered comfort in stolen glances, subtle touches, and fervent kisses that left us both gasping. One evening, following a particularly exhilarating meeting, we lay entwined in bed, the gentle glow of moonlight filtering through the curtains. I traced my fingers along Liam's chest, absorbing the warmth emanating from him. "What are we doing?" I inquired, disrupting the tranquil stillness. The question lingered, laden with consequences. "Living," he responded, his tone unwavering. For the first time in an extended period. I grinned at his reply, while doubt eroded the periphery of my joy. "But what occurs when someone discovers the truth?" I inquired, my tone laced with concern. "Then we address it," he stated, elevating my chin to meet his eyes. "I am unafraid of what this entails. I desire you." His words ignited a surge of warmth within me. Yet I could not dispel the sense of looming peril. "I desire you as well," I confessed, acknowledging the gravity of my emotions for him. "However, this is not merely a pastime for me, it holds significance." He nodded, his demeanor earnest. "It means something to me too. But we can't let fear hold us back. We deserve to be happy." The sincerity in his voice melted my worries, and I leaned in, capturing his lips in a heated kiss. The intensity of our connection swelled, and I lost myself in the moment, forgetting all my doubts. As we kissed, I felt a sense of liberation. We were writing our own story, one filled with passion, desire, and the thrill of the forbidden. In the weeks that followed, we found ways to keep our connection alive amidst the chaos of our daily lives. Each stolen moment felt more precious than the last, and I found myself looking forward to our encounters with a mix of excitement and apprehension. I cherished the thrill of our secret meetings, the way Liam would look at me, his eyes filled with desire and admiration. Each kiss, each touch reignited the fire within me that had long been dormant. But as much as I tried to focus on the joy we shared, the reality of our situation lingered in the back of my mind. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were living on borrowed time, dancing on the edge of a precipice. There were moments when I would catch myself wondering what it would mean if James found out. Would he be angry? Would he understand? Or would he see me as a betrayer? Someone who had crossed an unthinkable line? One evening, as I prepared dinner, my mind was racing with thoughts of Liam. I chopped vegetables with a mechanical rhythm, but my thoughts were miles away. Just then, James walked into the kitchen, his presence pulling me back to reality. "Hey, honey," he said, placing a gentle kiss on my cheek. "What is for dinner?" I responded, "Merely pasta and salad," while feigning a smile. As he acclimated to the kitchen, our familiar repartee recommenced. However, I sensed an increasing detachment. My heart was burdened with secrets, and it felt as though I was donning a facade, feigning normalcy while turmoil simmered under the surface. Following dinner, I excused myself, asserting fatigue, and withdrew to my room. I perched on the bed's edge, my mind racing, I found myself again recalling the moments Liam and I shared, his touch, his kiss, and the way he invigorated me. I have already missed him. At that moment, my phone vibrated with a notification. The source was Liam. "Can we meet tonight?" it inquired. My heart quickened at the prospect. The exhilaration of reuniting with him, of experiencing that electric connection, was irresistible. I promptly responded, "Yes. I'll be waiting." As the evening progressed, my anticipation intensified. I heard James moving about the house, engrossed in television in the living room, entirely oblivious to the clandestine plans unfolding behind closed doors. When the clock struck 10, my heart raced upon hearing a gentle knock on my bedroom door. "Sophia." Liam's voice was scarcely a whisper. I opened the door to discover him standing there, appearing as handsome as I recalled. Upon our eyes meeting, the atmosphere was charged with palpable tension. Silently, I drew him inside and secured the door, excluding the outside world. "What if James observes you?" I murmured, my tone imbued with anxiety. "He will not," he reassured me, advancing closer. The warmth of his body emanated towards me, and I sensed the magnetic attraction between us. "I merely required your presence." Before I could reply, he bridged the gap, seizing my lips in an ardent kiss. The external world diminished as I immersed myself in him. Experiencing the familiar surge of longing enveloped me. Our kisses intensified, and I sensed the burdens of everything else dissipate. As we approached the bed, my thoughts became increasingly disordered. The exhilaration of concealment and the alluring warmth of his physique inundated my senses. We collapsed onto the bed, engulfed in a flurry of kisses and caresses. I felt invigorated, elated, and completely absorbed by the bond we shared. However, as swiftly as the fervor erupted, a shadow of uncertainty emerged at the periphery of my thoughts. What if this were entirely erroneous? What if I were endangering all that I had established with James? At that moment, nothing else was significant. I wished to be there with Liam, immersed in this captivating reality where I felt wanted and vibrant. Time elapsed while we remained intertwined, oblivious to the burdens of the external world. I recognized the necessity of contemplating the repercussions and the life I shared with James. However, under Liam's hug, all seemed flawless. The intimacy we enjoyed was unparalleled in my recent experiences. Ultimately, the gravity of the situation began to penetrate my consciousness, and I had a twinge of shame. I gently addressed Liam, interrupting the serene silence. "What actions are we undertaking?" He gazed down at me, his demeanor grave. "We are alive, Sophia. We are embracing something exquisite." Affirmative. "However, it is intricate. What will occur if James discovers this?" I inquired, my voice quivering slightly. "We will address it together," he asserted resolutely, as though that would rectify the situation. I am unafraid of what this entails. I desired to trust him. I hoped we could weather this storm together. However, uncertainty persisted in my heart. However, I cannot simply abandon my life with James. He merits superior treatment, I asserted, as tears threatened to well in my eyes. "Do you have affection for him?" Liam inquired softly. The question lingered, laden with consequences. I acknowledge that I care for him, although it is not equivalent. I had not experienced this sensation in an extended while. Perhaps it is time to confront your genuine desires. He stated gently. You are entitled to happiness. At that instant, I recognized the accuracy of his assertion. I had concentrated so intently on the repercussions that I had overlooked my own happiness. In Liam's gaze, I perceived not merely desire, but also a reflection of what had been absent in my life. I ultimately expressed my desire, emboldened by a wave of boldness. I desire you. His eyes glimmered with a combination of elation and relief. Let us not squander any further time, he stated, drawing me nearer as our lips connected once more. With every kiss, we vowed to cherish this intricate and wonderful relationship. I was aware that the path forward would be arduous and fraught with hurdles. At that moment, with Liam by me, I felt prepared to confront the world, regardless of what was ahead. I was resolute in my intention to savor each moment and heed my heart.